I put in 20 years inside the plant before I went to the store?
No,
That's
no.
2005 to now.
No, you would go from, from 2005 to now. Now, I mean, what Joe said, I mean, was that one of the groups that was added in 2008?
Excluded.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the answer to how many people were excluded, but first of all, so for all of the time that you were in the departments that are in a production department, is that where you were in before?
Yeah, I put 20 years in the plant and not quite 2 years in the employee market.
Okay, for the period in the earlier, well, we don't go 20 years back, we're only going back to 2005.
Well, no.
But for those early years, your department will show up and we have over time the correct department. So you will get your compensation based on your old original department for those earlier years. I don't know, Joe says that the market is not included. I don't know, I take his word for it. If it's not included, that means you're not included for the later period, if you don't have any downing and docking time that will come out of this settlement. Whether there is a claim for that time, whether, and I don't know I don't know what the facts are concerning your department now. It's a separate question that we could talk about. If it's not included, it's not, if you weren't covered by the settlement, you're not borrowed and you may have a claim for that period. In the market, just off the top of my head, I would think it might be a tougher case because you don't, is this the market where you're selling?
Yeah,
to
our employee store.
Right, where you don't have the sanitation issues, it might be
I
tough to
guess
make that
I'm
up.
asking these questions too more so in general than for myself.
Right,
Because being in the market and working with my coworkers, you hear a lot of talks or concerns, and there's a lot of people that maybe are scheduled or other obligations that couldn't have been here today, and these were some of the questions and concerns I heard from fellow union employees. So.
Well, I guess, thank you, and no, look, if you have questions, give us a call. There are a lot of you, and I've talked to a lot of you, and I love to talk to you. So give me a call, and I'll try to give you the answers if I can.
And we post on the website.
And we post on the website.
LawtonCates.com.
Go to LawtonCates.com. We're trying to post, the 1st and the 15th of every month. And as I get questions that people call me up, I use that as a basis for putting things on the website as well. We're trying to keep you as well informed as we can. Okay, question, yes, sir.
My question was that this is a settlement checks, it's coming to, it will be done in 2 form, or this is settlement check comes done in
Ordinary income, you will be taxed.
You will tax?
You will be taxed. Yeah, it should be covered in your, yeah, this is ordinary income. Yeah, next year. Okay. Other questions? I see a hand in the back.
And you get dressed in the morning, get ready to go downstairs. You also have to get dressed for sanitation. You get wet, you still have to go back upstairs, change clothing again of your wet clothes. Get a brand new frock and go back downstairs. Is that extra time for us?
No, because
No.
they're already on the clock.
Yeah, once you're on the clock, that's right. Once you're on the clock, you're on the clock. The times that have been put down for you, were negotiated times, and those times can't be changed at this point. Yes?
I agree that.
Can you stand up so we can hear you? Maybe give him the microphone.
Hold it.
Well, we have a question on the floor.
I had heard that from Wednesday's meeting, that there was some problem with the computer records they provided because they changed in 08 from Chronos to this Keva system, and that what was already in there was not jiving with what they had submitted, but then it's like we had to pay the cost of the data entering, and it's like I figured if they had lost the case all the way through, that they had to pay attorney fees and everything.
Okay, your question is a change in computer systems, and that is something that I guess happens every place. It is a headache, but we're working through it, and I think our person will will be able to deal with it. And as far as, and I will be getting into what Kraft is paying as far as attorney's fees and costs in a minute, and I'll answer that question then. In fact, I'll answer it now, unless there are other questions dealing with how your damages are going to be computed. Seeing none, as far as attorney's fees and costs are concerned, we took this case on a contingent fee basis, which means if we lose, we don't get anything, the attorneys. Likewise, if we lost, we would be out of pocket all of the amount that we had paid for expenses. And as of this time, we have put out and we have paid out $100,000 to experts in bringing the case to the place where it is now. And there will be additional expenses to pay for our data expert as well, because he's going to have to be doing quite a bit of work. He has done quite a bit of work over these last few weeks. All of those expenses will be paid for by Kraft. So if there is, if the computer problems that were generated by the new system cost additional $10,000 to us, that'll be passed right back to Kraft. Now, as far as attorney's fees go, there are two levels, and I want to try to make sure that you understand this, because I think there might have been some confusion coming out of the Wednesday meeting. But the attorneys are entitled to be paid the reasonable rate for the work that they rendered and a reasonable number of hours. And that is going to be, that's the responsibility of Kraft to pay us those amounts. Now they will. And I am sure we will have a fight with Kraft as to the reasonable rate, the reasonable number of hours. Well, I tell you, this was Sarah's idea. We have made a request on them to provide us with the hours that's what they paid their attorneys for their hours and for the time. But we said you don't have to provide it if you don't object to what we're putting in. So we're in the process of doing that now. And the court has to approve those if there's an objection. Now, if that amount, including all the attorney's hours plus the expenses, comes to 25% of the settlement, then Kraft has to pay the entire amount, and that's it. If it's less than 10%, or excuse me, less than 25%, then we can petition the court to give us a fee enhancement, it's called. And what that is and courts generally give this, and that's because when attorneys like us take on these cases, we're not paid every month. Or in fact, we're not paid till the end. And that's a financial burden on the law firm to take it. So the courts will frequently add something above what the reasonable rates would give. And that amount would come out of the settlement. However, just a second, I'll get there. I'll lose my train of thought if I ask you.
I just have one question.
Okay.
After this. Our payment, would it come as a payroll check or something from somewhere else?
It'll come as a payroll check.
I'm going to ask it all. Will it be taxed as a gift and
Payroll.
Taxes, wages. And we have a question into them right now. I don't know if we'll get it, but we're asking that they also consider giving you your 401k percentage as well on that. I don't think, it wasn't part of the settlement, but we thought we'd ask for it. Pardon me?
It's taxes, wages.
Yes,
Yeah, just put it down, 10 minutes.
it's payroll. Okay. Now, let me finish up on the attorney's fees because this last part could affect the amount that you get out of it. If the court awards us an additional amount over and above the reasonable hours times the rate, and that amount they can give us so that the total amount, including the amount we get from Kraft, comes to no more than 25%. A small slice could come out of the amount that you get. However, I'm sure that your checks will be reduced for any attorney's fees of ours by less than 10%. And just that, I don't know what the amount is yet because we don't know what the numbers are, we don't know what the court allows. But when I've been telling you how much is going to go into that check. Okay, what's going to come out is obviously taxes, and there might be something in attorney's fees, but it'll be no more than 10%. Okay.
Jim talked about what it is for a law firm to take on a contingency fee case. And that means that the law firm does make some sacrifices to be able to carry a case like that, because we've been going now since 2005 and we haven't seen a penny for that, just like you haven't seen a penny for that. I would like to introduce you to some of our other lawyers from the law firm that stood by your case and took those sacrifices. Kent Carnell, our prior president, was here and he just left. But I would ask the attorneys, we have Lisa Goldman here who does a lot of our criminal law.
Yeah.
Kelly Anderson, who is working on workers' comp and social security disability. Dixon Gons, who's the chairperson of our board and does general litigation. We have up here Lori Cannonberg, who handles a lot of our administrative stuff and everything else we ask her to do. And I'd like to introduce you to Bruce Davey, who's been at the law firm for a very long time and has been very dedicated to labor law issues. He's retired, but he comes to work every day because he loves what he does. We are all very proud to be part of Lawton and Cates and to have been your counsel and walk you through this victory. I'll give the mic back.
Okay. I encourage you to, take home this with you and read it when you have a chance. Are there any more questions? Okay, Joe?
The amount of money that Lawton and Cates is submitting to Barbara Kraft for approval is $400 an hour. Sarah here is just under $600 an hour. It is, in my opinion, we have paid Lawton and Cates as labor counsel $190 an hour is the most we've ever paid them. So they're requesting at least twice what we have normally paid them. And I don't feel it's right that anything comes out of our checks.
So just one moment, because what you need to realize is the billable hours that we bill is what Kraft pays us. So that's not coming out of your settlement. We have to put in our reasonable rate for the reasonable amount of hours that we worked, and that is what Kraft will be paying us.
We will be putting our, whatever we ask for in fees on the website, so you'll have every opportunity to look at it. I can assure